Namaste. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is Madhu Vottery, Coordinator for National Scientific Committee Cultural Tourism, ICOMOS India. I, along with Cultural Tourism and Historic Cities, Towns and Villages and Intangible Cultural Heritage Scientific Committees, welcome all of you for this beautiful session where we have wonderful scholars from all over the country. And today we will be having a great session, which we start from east part of the country. In the next session, which will happen on second week, we will go to north and northeast zone. In the third session, to western central zone. And then we will be to the south zone. And then after south zone, we'll have a beautiful session that is across the country. And we will also have a panel discussion. So I will quickly give you a brief what these sessions are all about. Why are we celebrating festivals? One is that we are all celebrating Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav from India. And we are also having the 50 wonderful year for the World Heritage Convention. So we all brainstormed and all our scholars, friends came out, colleagues from ICOMOS and from the academia. I would appreciate their efforts. And then we have designed these series of webinars. So again, the question comes, why the celebration, why the festival? Because we believe that a lot of people come to India, or we as ourselves as the visitors, we appreciate our country, their festivals. And this is why we are also talking about the responsible tourism. So for that, we have Dr. Madhura Dutta with us from banglanatak.com. So without much delay, I would like to give the platform to Madhura. Thank you, Madhura. Over to you. I have a brief introduction. I take pride in introducing my good friend, Dr. Madhura Dutta. She's a director of banglanatak.com, and she works on international collaboration and research initiatives at banglanatak.com. She has a rich 20 years of global work experience, including UNESCO. She has a PhD from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. She has double MA. The most important is Sustainable Development by Commonwealth Scholarship from UK and MA in Sociology from Kolkata University. She is a freelance writer and she talks about culture and development issues. Over to you, Madhura. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhu. I would like to share my screen. Can I do that?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, can all of you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, as Madhu introduced, so we are talking on festivals and we will be celebrating the importance of festivals in our culture. Now, what I will be talking about today are some of the lesser known village festivals of West Bengal.
Madhura, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's a black box we are seeing at the extreme right of your presentation.
Now, do you see the whole screen?
Yeah, now the box is small, so fine, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So as I said, I'm going to present on some of the lesser known village festivals of West Bengal. And just to briefly introduce our organization, we are a 22 years social enterprise working in the area of culture and development. And through our journey, we have got acknowledgement and recognition from UNESCO. We, in fact, are in advisory status to UNESCO 2003 Intangible Cultural Heritage Convention. And we are in special consultative status with UN ECOSOC, UN WTO, and a national partner of UNESCO. We have been working with safeguarding conservation towards to build them in a way that they can continue creating livelihoods and well-being of the communities who practice them. So that has been the core of our work. And we work across India with various rural and marginalized communities who are creative communities who have some kind of traditional practice, be it craft, be it performing art, and we build their capacities to bring about the overall development. So our methodology is briefly and broadly this. We start with a cultural mapping and inventorying, which even though so many different organizations are working across India, this remains a gap, just sheer diversity and scale of the country, and every nook and corner having these kinds of creative communities and practicing traditional art forms. It becomes very important to understand where they are, how much they are spread, and creating an inventory of their art form in a way that we do it through community participation. So the community participates in the whole process so that we can get the information as per the understanding or the belief or the practice of the community themselves. And the inventorying and mapping leads to documentation. We do different kinds of documentation, textual, audio, video. So we have a YouTube channel where there are many videos of processes, of artisans, of artists, performing arts collaborations, which are free to watch. So they become very good reference points. We have books, we have published books. We have music apps, which are of those music which you do not get to hear in your regular life, or if you have to hear, you really have to go to a particular place at a particular event to hear it. So this dissemination becomes very important for us. And finally, very focused heritage awareness and education, so that the knowledge that has been created doesn't sit only as an archive, but becomes a reference point for education and for practice of younger generations in the long run. Because we work with livelihoods through craft and art forms, empowering the artists become important. Their skills are obviously there. They are the ones who have those skills, but honing those skills and upgrading those skills become important, because many of these communities have had left their traditional practices to go and work as menial labors, and there's a reality that is there all over the country, which we know. So within the community skill transmission from the gurus to the other community members, design development, creating brands, creating awareness, and promoting their practices, and the artists, supporting business skills, because they have to be made market ready for reaching out to the customers, exposure and direct market linkage, and institution building. Institution building becomes very important because in our country, organically, villages are the units where the artisans live, and they practice those art and crafts essentially within a community. So building the collective, building the community as a whole becomes a very important strategy. And so that leads to developing villages as cultural hubs. So this becomes very important. And this is where we really come to the main discussion that we are having today, that over the years, we have created village festivals across 20 active community-owned hubs across Bengal. So these are all, when I say hubs, these are all villages of craft practitioners or performing art practitioners who are traditional practitioners of these forms. They have been living in those villages since age-old times. Their previous generations have been there, so they are rooted there, and they have been practicing those art forms, but probably through time, those were getting lost. So our role was to revive those and to institutionalize community festivals in a way that those become an instrument, a source for creating awareness and promoting the village as a cultural hub. So that is how it had started initially. So we institutionalize village festivals, but then those happen in the villages, and those are managed by the communities and owned by the communities. So it's really theirs, but we've developed their capacities through time for them to be able to own it and carry it out by themselves. And in every village, we have on the community land, and in the community's ownership, we have built a community-owned village folk art center. This is basically a physical space where collectively they can gather, they can use the space to work, and every resource center has a community museum. So the community museum is based on the narratives and the oral histories of the community, and it gives a lot of pride and a lot of recognition for the artisans to see that, you know, those are of interest to people who are coming in and looking at what their art form is, where it emerged from, what they are doing now, and they can sell things and all that. Now, another interesting point is this is not only meant for, you know, people coming from outside. So these are largely visited even by the locals, the neighboring villagers, the neighboring areas. So it's very much an attraction point for the locals as well as the people who are coming from cities or even nationally and internationally, the visitors who visit. So just wanted to mention this, that because of this methodology that we have and the fact that these festivals have led to a very vibrant cultural tourism in these villages, we were awarded the Sustainability Champions Award from Outlook Responsible Tourism this year. So with that, I will like to play a very small 2 minutes video just to give you a sense of what these festivals look like. And then I will have 2-3 more slides to sum up the presentation.
মেলা হচ্ছে বায়ার এবং সেলার দুজনের মিলনের জায়গা।
Congratulations to the whole team of Rural Crafts and Cultural Hub along with UNESCO.
অ্যাম্বিয়েন্সটা এখানে আছে, সেই অ্যাম্বিয়েন্সটা অ্যাটলিস্ট এই ধারার গান বাজনার জন্য একদম অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েট। আমি সেই মজাটাই নিতে আসি।
খুব ভালো লাগলো, আমি আরো আমার বন্ধুদেরকে নিয়েও আসি।
অনেকদিন ধরে উৎসাহিত ছিলাম। এটা আমাদের ভারতবর্ষের একটা সম্পদ। আমি খুব সমৃদ্ধ যে আমি এত ভালো একটা উৎসব দেখতে পেলাম।
লোকজন আসছে, জিজ্ঞাসাও করছে পটের গান কি জিনিস, অনেকে হয়তো জানে না।
So could you see the whole video?
Yeah, this was beautiful.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm very, very tempted to ask the group listening to me that how many of these forms have you seen earlier, but I'll not get into that. So here you can see all the, the different posters that we create to support these village groups for their festivals, and this kind of handholding support has been there for the more newer festivals that have started maybe 5 years, 6 years, 3 years. And then there are the ones which have been happening for 15 years, where the community has completely taken up the ownership of doing such things. And the what is it that happens? Why it attracts people and why is this a very important model is because, firstly, we are used to seeing whatever limited traditional performing art and craft we see are seen in the cities, in exhibitions, or in urban events. So very few actually have the experience, other than the people who are working in this sector directly, who have the opportunity to go and see and meet the artists in their own habitats. That's fundamental, because by again, organically, by nature, these are all home-based creative industries, and they are used to creating these artworks or practicing the performing arts in their home, in their village, and they are in sync with the natural surroundings there. So it is very important to understand or enjoy the art form in their natural habitat, in their own habitat. So this gives an opportunity for people to really do that. And then in many cases in these village festivals, the people have continued to visit those places and go to those places even beyond the festivals. And they purchase the handicrafts directly from the artists' hubs. So they really take back a story with them. They interact with the artists. They take a little more than just the product, and that builds the relationship and the appreciation. The second is, in all these places, because they are home-based industries, village-based industries, and because they are all building these things up, so because they're creating these in their own villages, or they are performing these in their own villages, when the visitors go, they can actually see the artists sitting and making those things. So again, that is a huge exposure and a learning and experiential tourism for them, where in a festival, it is not like they have come with 2 reeds and they are just showing a small thing. They see the artisans in their entire setup of how they are making their products, be it painting, be it metal, be it mask carving, be it wood, anything. So this has given the visitors a huge appreciation for the very high level of skills that exist, and this has really brought the villages to the fore and to a position where the appreciation has been so high for the kind of skills and traditional knowledge that they hold. As I mentioned, there are community museums, and these community museums become the center of these festivals. So then the people can go there, they can look at the process, how the entire process documented. They look at different kinds of products. There are very old products also, which are collected from the gurus. There are life stories of the very senior artists who have probably passed away. So all those create a lot of difference, and it really promotes the authentic knowledge and the experience of these cultural forms, centering these festivals. So in these spaces, even workshops are held with the people coming from outside who are the tourists. So they join the workshop, they make things, they learn things. So it's a lot more than just seeing something at an exhibition stall. Same thing, watching the performances, knowing about the folk art forms. And when I first watched a Chow dance, for example, in Purulia, I mean, watching a Chow dance on a stage in an urban setup and watching a Chow dance in the village on their own ground, they are 2 completely different things. And one has to appreciate that to be able to take the the taste of all the different kinds of diversity of the productions made by them as well. So these become important, and finally, it creates spaces for national and international creative exchanges and collaborations. A lot of people come from outside, and this we have facilitated over time, but a lot of artists, a lot of artisans also from national and international spaces, a lot of musicians, they come during these festivals. So the festival become the occasion, the space for them to come and join in with the local artisans and the artists. And there is a very huge awareness creation about each other's art forms, craft forms, performances, collaborations, co-creation, which really inspires and encourages the whole development of the art form, the community, the village, everything together. It just creates beautiful social cohesion and a cultural cohesion. And there is a catalytic effect in this entire thing. So what has happened is, over time, see, for example, there is this poster which says photo walk. So this is a Dokra Mela, which happens in Bikna, which is very close to Shantiniketan. Now, there are photographers who are doing a Bikna, in centering the Bikna Dokra Mela, a street photography workshop. Now, these are not organized or facilitated by us, or these are not organized or facilitated by the artisans themselves, but these become such interesting hubs of action, of festival, of a lot of creativity, that a lot gets generated around it. So different strands of niche tourism interests also develop around these festivals. And then another thing is the mainstreaming of these festivals with the government. So there is a Posh Mela, there is a Khadi Mela, and they are happening in those districts. And in those districts, these artisans who are already now well known because of these festivals, because of the exposure, they get to participate. And that definitely creates a difference in terms of the catalytic effect of these festivals. So finally, the key things that come out of this for us, beyond the beauty and the creativity of the festivals, is that they are community-led and community-owned, which become extremely important for their own pride and for really strengthening the local village economy. Villages get transformed into cultural destinations, boosting cultural tourism, which you just saw. There is huge cultural awareness generation, which just have a multiplier effect through word of mouth, through social media. There are bloggers who are writing, photographers who are taking photographs, publishing, etc. These become platforms for exchange and interactions, which become a very important thing for the development and the progress of these communities. They are excellent spaces of cultural diplomacy, because culture is a fantastic resource of building multicultural dialogues and cooperation. And that happens beyond any kind of formal relationships. And then over time, there is a holistic development of the rural village creative economies, which are really the focus areas now, because we are increasingly understanding post-COVID that strengthening local economy becomes a very important factor in terms of sustainable development. So yeah, so that's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions after all the presentations I've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madhura. It was so vibrant, so much to learn from you. I always feel like, our country is so beautiful. There is so much richness, and then, you people have, I would say, identified the potential of the cultural tourism, and then, you have done a beautiful job. I mean, I wish you all the best, that, may your tribe grow and may you go to more places and more people get benefited from it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madhura. I now request architect Sayantan to come forward, who's going to talk about Durga Puja. Architect Sayantan is a curator, architect, and a collaborative artist. He is basically, curating public art festivals in West Bengal and some parts of Northeast. He's into new media art and contemporary art, and he's trying to address the socio-political and environmental issues through his collaborative art projects. So more you can hear from Sayantan. Even I'm so excited to, see him virtually for the first time and appreciate. I mean, I have seen his work unofficially, officially on different platforms. But yeah, thank you very much, Sayantan, for coming forward for this presentation. Now the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. I hope you can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start off with a small video. Can you see the video?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's basically, I'm just giving a brief introduction through this video. We know about Durga Puja, but this is a very brief introduction to Durga Puja, and I'll come to...
The autumn visitors from the Himalayas are here, and the year-long wait is over. Goddess Durga has arrived, closer home, to meet her mortal devotees. For millions of Bengalis, it's celebration time. It's Durga Puja that marks 10 days of fun and frolic across eastern India, especially in Kolkata, the capital of West Bengal. The festival celebrates the victory of the goddess over the demon. Prayers do play an integral part of the festivities, but Durga Puja is about positivity. The goddess is an embodiment of power, valor, and justice, and that makes Durga Puja a celebration of life. Over the years, this celebration of the 10-armed goddess Durga's victory over the indomitable buffalo demon, Mahishasura, has gone beyond the ritualistic worship and has metamorphosed into a gala carnival of public art. Come Durga Puja, and Kolkata gets transformed into a huge public art gallery with signs of creative experiments all around. Sculptors and painters use their imagination to narrate the inherent essence of the festival through their unique creations of the idols and the temporary structures known as pandals, housing the goddess. The riot of ideas that the city witnesses during Durga Puja turn the devotees into art aficionados as they go pandal hopping, appreciating the nuanced art hidden in the pandals or the idols. With time, business has also found a space in these artistic expressions. Durga Puja undoubtedly offers the marketers a great opportunity to connect with their potential customers. And that brings the moolah for the organizers, who spend liberally on ideas to make their pandals and idols distinctively different from the rest. This competition has given a big push to artistic experiments in Durga Puja in Kolkata. The increasing importance of commerce in Durga Puja has woven in a unique welfare dimension to the festival. The trickle-down mechanism works in full swing during the festival, and the benefits accrue to people irrespective of their caste and religion. An income bump time for everyone, from the lower caste Hindu food vendors selling delicacies on the streets of Kolkata to the Muslim craftsmen working at the pandals. So, Durga Puja is not just about worship. Only fun? No, not really. With art and commerce getting intricately woven into it, Durga Puja is much more. A win-win event for all. And that's why Kolkatans eagerly wait for the mother of all festivals, Durga Puja, through the year.
This was a brief introduction to Durga Puja. I'm sure most of you know about Durga Puja. We have around 4,000 of them in just the city of Kolkata. Like 3 lakh people from various, who are various farmers and local craftsmen who normally do agriculture all over Bengal, turn up to Kolkata for 4 months or maybe a little more or less, and they end up helping create these massive structures which we call pandals. So what we as Mass Art is an organization where we have like-minded people who work with, who like this idea of Durga Puja, not in the specific idea of just that it's a religious festival. We wanted to promote this massive art and architectural experience into something more tangible in terms of showing to people. We already have 10 days of visitors from all over Kolkata and from the suburbs, but we wanted to go one extra mile, one extra step. So for that, I'm just giving you a brief preview. So what we did was we started from last year this concept called Durga Puja Preview Show, which means from Mahalaya onwards, and the Durga Puja opens up, these pandals open up to people from the 3rd or 4th day of Durga Puja till the Dashmi, the last day, the 10th day. So what we did was we mapped like very exclusive Durga Pujas from the north to south of Kolkata. So we kind of mapped the city to see what were the most exclusive, design interventions in these Durga Puja pandals. And we kind of curated it to make like a walkthrough through these 22 we selected. And what we wanted to do was, a lot of people shy away from going to these Durga Pujas because there's massive crowds during the time of Durga Puja. There's at peak hours at some places would be 1 lakh visitor per hour. That's the maximum kind of things. That's like intense. So a lot of people, of course, they go to their neighborhoods, but they are not very keen on going to these some really big or very spectacular Durga Puja. Durga Pujas happen in various kinds of locations. Some could be massive parks. Some could be the tiniest of the narrow lanes, which gets converted into a completely different architectural form. So our aim was basically to, showcase out of these almost 4,000 Durga Pujas, some of the most unique ones. And that's what was our objective of a preview show. So we also wanted to celebrate that Durga Puja is not just a religious festival, but it could be, very highly creative festival where a lot of people do this parikrama to just see idols or the pandals in their various forms. So we also can call it like world's largest public art festival comparing to other festivals in the world. So what is unique about Durga Puja festivals are it's very neighborhood driven. So every neighborhood probably has a couple of Durga Pujas, and the neighborhoods are actually challenging each other to do the best they can, and they come from various social background in one sense. So what we did last year was before Mahalaya, so which was still not the time when Durga Puja is a very democratic festival. The richest to the poorest people are entertained and welcome to come to Durga Pujas. What we did was before Mahalaya, we took over like 22 plus 4 more Durga Pujas, 26 of them total, and we had a selective entry. What we did was we invited people from all over, India and abroad. We called embassies. We wanted to showcase what Kolkata Durga Puja can, provide in terms of art and culture and architecture. So we had this thing of, we did this from 6 p.m. So basically the evening to the morning is when we wanted to showcase this this form, and 2-3 hours were just for photographers and documentation work. I mean, people who wanted to document Durga Puja in their various forms. So essentially, Durga Puja is also a festival lights, and the lights take you from one place to the other, and how you can go about. So our main contention was to look at these beautiful pandals more like a museum space and enjoy it. In a Durga Puja time, what happens is you are like rushed through this space, which is a beautifully designed thing which the pandal makers or the artists do. So they kind of narrate you, take you down through a journey of their narration, but you have to do it in a very fast pace. So what we wanted to do was, do a one-to-one with the artist who was working there, and how you could grasp and almost see it as a museum space, see it as a gallery space. So, and you could stop anywhere you want, enjoy that space, that sound. And Durga Puja comes with not only visual appeal, but it also about sound and feelings, many other things. So we broke it down into 3-4 parts in the city. So we had 22 contemporary Durga Pujas, which we selected as unique, eclectic ones. So all of them were different from each other in certain forms and categories. Then there were some traditional Durga Pujas, and there were 2 Bonedi Bari or aristocratic household Durga Pujas. And we were lucky to have the town hall in Kolkata, where we created, like a process-based exhibition on Durga Puja. So, I mean, contemporary art in Durga Puja, it's a long discussion, but I'm not going there. So in the video, you saw some of it, a little bit of it. So artists, this for the last 100 years or more, there's been a very interesting change in the way of the architecture and how the idols have changed forms. It's now more broader. There's more artistic expression which artists in Kolkata can go ahead with. So there's a huge melange of materials which artists have in their hands, which is unique in all over the world, because such big art spaces which they create is unique. I mean, you don't see anywhere in the world where they can create such massive spaces with materials and with sound and all that. So we also had traditional Durga Pujas, just to see the comparison between all of these. And of course, we had Bonedi Bari Durga Pujas. So these old Zamindari Durga Pujas would happen in the 18th century, 19th century. And this Durga Puja also started from this idea of being in a household of a king, or then all like this Zamindars. And from there, these Zamindars were actually trying to appease the the British, the East India Company in a certain way. From there, some people felt that it's not very this thing. Why do we have to go inside Zamindar household? So what they did was 12 men from the community. They started this Barwari Puja, which means started by 12 people. So this became a model for everywhere in Kolkata in the early 18th or early 19th century. And from there, around 1920s onwards, they became Sarvajanin Pujo. So Sarvajanin was for everyone. That's how we now is what we have something called Sarvajanin. So it's meant for everyone. In the town hall, for instance, during those 3 days, we had we got Kumatuli artists to come over there and actually make a live Durga, like 2 or 3 live Durga idols that time. And those Durga idols later on went to some of the pandals. So the person who entered town hall could actually see what was like the making of Durga Puja, how the Kumatuli artists actually make Durga idols, sorry. And then we also had inside the town hall a massive installation, which was more like a contemporary installation. And also we had several handicrafts which are directly related to Durga Puja. So all the handicrafts or folk artists who are related to Durga Puja or in some forms, because Durga Puja also, the medium range Durga Puja also use like, like show masks, for instance, could be used as one of the themes for Durga Puja. And so these artists would directly come into one of these pandals who are using this theme and work like that. So we inculcated all these artists who had sometimes in some form worked with some Durga Puja, uh, and which are all these local handicrafts from Bengal. We used, as I'm saying, the weaving process had to be very, it has to be very clean and this thing. So we had QR codes which we gave to people or invited people with QR codes, so they would get to access these things from our website. And once you are at the gate, you'll have your QR code to get you into these things, and you can watch it like as long as you want. So we also wanted to have narrations like one-to-one with the artists who would stand there and explain what they were trying to do. And of course, in the town hall, we had dhaki flares and dances, various forms of traditional dance forms which we had. And the idea finally was to locate Kolkata as a very unique place for cultural tourism. And luckily, we had many ambassadors and cultural entities who would come, and for the first time they enjoyed Durga Puja like nothing else, because it was a unique experience. You never get to see Durga Puja in such a small crowd. We're used to so much of crowd that you miss out on details of these things. So just as a do I have time?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sayantan.
Yeah, so just showing you. Sorry. So this is what we were showcasing people this year. So this is a bear. So this was a performance-based Durga Puja, which many folk artists came from Chota Nagpur Hills, and they were performing as part of the installation. Like this one is talking about the city of Kolkata. It talks about histories, very personal histories of Kolkata and about printing. And mind you, all you're seeing are inside bylanes and lanes of some place which we will not go to in a normal time. But Durga Puja drags us there during those days. So this year we again plan to do this preview show, and as you saw, we already planned this preview show this year, so it will be from 11 to 15. So when you actually get to see Durga Puja Pandal in very different form, and it's all about the art and architecture of it, you experience it very with your oneself. And so finally, just a transformation I wanted to show is just this I showed you before. This is like this one tiny narrow lane in somewhere in central Kolkata, and see the transformation of what is happening here. So slowly this entire lane is gone. It's like, and this is how it is getting transformed into this space where this artist has made a multi-layered level of even walkthrough from down and up. So this is the transformation of this gully. So yeah, I think my time is up. If not, I can continue.
How many more minutes do we need, Sayantan?
I'm done. I can keep on showing you more work.
Oh, lovely. This is a great work, I would say. I mean, it's a treat to our eyes. Thank you very much.
And I welcome you all to come this time, as I said. So during Durga Puja, it becomes a little tough because there's too many people. So the idea is to do this slightly before. So before Mahalaya only, we are forcing these, we're again selecting 22 Durga Pujas, contemporary Durga Pujas, and 2 Rajbaris and 2 Bonadi Baris. And the idea would be to showcase it as like a gallery space, like a museum space, and appreciate these beautiful art and architecture side of Durga Puja. Thank you.
Thank you, Sayantan. This was, I think, one of the most beautiful things we could get to see in such a short time. And I mean, a lot of work. I know it must have been like, you must be toiling for months together.
Yeah.
For this project. I now request Jitu ji to come forward. Mr. Jitu Misra, I call him a storyteller. So we already have a problem solver, Madhura. She finished her work, and then we had a collaborative artist, Sayantan, and now this is storyteller Jitu ji. He's an archaeologist by qualification, and he has he's a co-founder for Sarna Education and Cultural Services. He's into immersive cultural tourism, also into handloom intervention and sustainable craft. So Jitu ji, the floor is yours. We welcome you.
Thank you, ma'am. So yeah, you have already introduced, and after going through 2 wonderful presentations, I don't know how much it will be appreciated. So as ma'am said, I'm actually co-founder. I'm by training an archaeologist, and I'm also co-founder of an organization called Sarna in Odisha in Bhubaneswar, so which work in the area of cultural and sustainable tourism, not the conventional tourism which is known, for which Odisha is known, like Puri Jagannath Temple and Bhubaneswar temples. So we do mostly in the tribal areas and the interiors of Odisha, where we give we offer immersive experience to our travelers who visit through us. So today I'll be talking about a very different Odisha. So I don't know how to share the screen. Okay, just a minute. Sorry. So when it comes to Odisha, like people know about mostly the temple city of Bhubaneswar, Puri, Konark, and for which a lot of tourists are drawn, and a lot of things have been told. But there is another side of Odisha where people hardly know.
Can you see?
Know. Yeah, I'm able to see, yes.
Okay, so should we continue like this, Jitu ji?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
So today I'll be taking you to a place. I think I've started working on this topic since last 1 year, when I was asked by the tribal ministry to do a book on tribal art and craft of Odisha. So I was given a chance to travel to some of the far off regions in Western Odisha and Southwestern Odisha, which are bordering Chhattisgarh. and where people like, there are different types of tribes like Gond, Chukutia Punjia, then you have Batra. So there are different types of tribes, and most of them are actually offshoots of Gond tribe, which you know is one of the largest tribal communities of central India, and a sizable population also live in Odisha, in this part of Odisha, bordering Chhattisgarh. And they have very rich tradition of celebrating Bhima. So Bhima, all of us know, is the second, brother from the Mahabharata fame. And here they don't see him as a Mahabharata, character. They see him as a rain-bearing god, and also a god who had introduced agriculture, and also, in this area, in this part of Odisha, and also as a fertility god, as a fertility god. So I'll be talking about this. Yeah, I'll just.
Did I make a mistake somewhere?
No, I'm not able to. What happened?
I don't know. To me, it is seen, but can you see it?
Yes, ma'am, we can see it now.
I can see. Yes, I can see.
Right.
So, so what you see here, there are two wooden posts. So they are erected temporarily, and the left one represents Bhima, and on the right side you have Bhimi, his wife. So this is in the Gond culture, which is in the Navarampur Umarkot region of Navarampur district, very close to Chhattisgarh border. And so this was my first, interactions. Can we go to the next page, please?
Yes.
So this is how the flow of this presentation is. That introduction to Bhima already we have discussed about, and the Mahabharata hero in tribal culture. And now we will go to Bhima in Sunaveda Plateau. So let's go to the second slide.
Can you see the second slide?
Next slide, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I already told about this. Mahabharata, Mahabharata character, Bhima is widely has a very significant, is very significant in the tribal culture of this part of Odisha. And here in the picture, which is part of a temple, a modern temple, of course. No, this is actually not a, it's a PowerPoint presentation. Not a PowerPoint, it's a PDF presentations, which I have developed in Canva. So this will be like that. So we can you move a little bit?
Sure.
I'm able to show or not.
Yeah.
Just down.
Should we go to the next slide?
Yeah, please. So Bhima in Sunaveda Plateau. So Sunaveda Plateau is like a 3,000 feet hill, a mountain ridge, which is supposed to be a proposed tiger sanctuary, but rampant killing of tiger, by the local tribes. I don't think so any tigers are present right now, but so there is also a sizable population of wildlife. So here, which is very remote and very picturesque, where you have a lot of waterfalls and rich flora and fauna, and the whole plateau, at the 3,000 feet mid sea level, there are numerous villages of this Chukutia Bunjia tribe. You can see two women. They are in their white saris. So there's a beautiful story also how this Chukutia, they are actually one of the offshoots of Gond tribes, and but there are very interesting traditions about this community. So for example, they don't let anyone to enter their standalone kitchen. Even if their daughter is married outside, of course, after the marriage, she also would not be allowed. If someone by mistake, by accident touches it, they would immediately burn it. And so that is, and then they will make a temporary makeshift kitchen where they will have their deity, as well as also part of it will be used by the women of the family. So this is a very interesting traditions. And in this plateau, the deity is called Sunadi, and who was supposed to be the sister of Bhima. So they have the Bhima is the character, and it's believed that Bhima had introduced rice here, the cultivation of rice here. And like any of the tribal myths, the whole world was once upon a time filled with water. And, then there are several episodes happened and how these landscapes were formed. And Bhima, sorry, and Bhima was sent by Mahadev to start agricultural activities. So you go to the, various locations of the plateau, which spreads almost for about 300 to 400 square kilometers. There you will find there are several places where Bhima had started agriculture. You will find, a stone, for example, which is associated with Bhima's plow. So all sort of things are there. And then why they are wearing this white sari is that once Bhima had insulted his sister, Sunade, and the Sunate could not tolerate. And Sunade is basically, is a heap of stones actually, who is worshipped in a very, very humble shrine. And she's then, and then she was insulted. And the women of the community, they could not take the insult, and that is why they are wearing white saris. But nowadays it has just become a ritual activity. It's not that they are wearing all the times. But when I asked them, they started wearing this white saris, and they sing also songs which are revolving around this Bhima and agriculture, introduction of agriculture. Next slide, please. So this is the shrine of Sunade, which is very different from a regular temple, and he's the priest standing. You can see on the left, there is it's actually a stone applied with vermilion and covered with a red cloth. So that is how her shrine is, and very, very humble shrine. Even though, the government or the local authorities, they are willing to spend money for the construction of a temple, but the community says they don't want a temple. So in this time, you can go inside, and every year during the month of Chaitra, a festival is celebrated where in a procession, the Sunade's idol is taken, and to the areas where Bhima has association with agriculture. So a lot of people, assemble there, and this is how is there. Next slide, please. Yeah. So now when we come to the Gond culture. So Gond, as I said, is a very, very prominent tribe in central India, and probably, the whole Gondwana, which is a geological era, is named after Gond tribe. So they have a large concentration in Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and also a sizable population in Odisha, in this part of Odisha. So in their culture, in the culture of Gonds, Bhima is again a very, very important deity. So there are several singing performance, bards. So they go from village to village, singing Bhima's stories, and where Bhima is associated with rain god. So there are several hills, streams, then ponds, and then forests, which are all named after Bhima. So you travel through the entire landscapes, so you will find them. And so this tribe, Gond tribe, for them, Bhima is the god who brings rain. So you can see two poles. I'll be talking about that. Yeah, so don't just minimize it. I'll be talking about that. So yes, yeah, just keep it like that. So what happened? The entire area go through, year after year droughts, and so they celebrate this Bhima Jatra. So what they do, they erect 2 poles, bamboo poles, and then covered it with flags or clothes, red and black clothes, and they represent Bhima and Bhimi. And what they do, they they fill the poles with cow dungs, and then Bhima's spirit, they think that Bhima and Bhimi's spirits live there, and they get suffocated, that they come out and bring rain. So that is what is the traditional belief. And the kind of baja what you see is a musical instrument, a kind of musical instrument where he's trying to beat, this man is trying to beat. So it's a drum. So it is believed that this was, and there is an eye also, if you can see. So they believe that, the Gonds believe that you can see the eye here, and then this is a very different shape musical instrument. It's called Mandara Baja, and it's believed that Bhima actually when he starts beating this Mandara Baja, the rains fall. So this is what is the local belief. Yeah, you can see those two poles. So this is very interesting traditions. And then yeah, next slide, please. And you can see then after, they all start playing, and they start performing dance in the circular fashions, both men and women, and the central person, a man who starts beating this Mandara Baja, and then also, which is also accompanied by other musical instruments, and they also erect during the same time a temporary shelter. You saw the poles in the previous slides. Just besides that, they also erect a temporary shelters where they paint the story of Bhima and also the world, their world. So here you see the man who is standing. He's the Bhima, and then he's supporting other supporting characters, and then there are also various kinds of geometrical symbols. So this is very interesting because Odisha, when we talk about murals, so all of us know about this Potachitra of Ragurajpur, which revolve around Jagannath cult, as well as also Krishna and Radha, the Rasa of Radha, between Radha and Krishna. And of course, nowadays a lot of new themes are added. Besides that, also there is a lot of hype created around this Iktal art, which we say tribal art in Odisha, which is practiced by Langia Sura community, which is part of the Samanic traditions. So that is a tribe, again, an iconic tribe which live in the southern part of Odisha. Just a minute. Yes. So this is again a very interesting mural traditions. And then I will come to the third tribe called Kond. And Kond is one of the again largest tribes which live mostly in the Kandhamal plateau and also in Koraput districts. And Konds are also divided into various branches. One of them is called Panga Konds. So you can see this is a Panga Kond woman, and they are known for their tattooed face, And this tattooed face also has very interesting patterns. So all the women have the same patterns, and so there are a lot of interpretations, beliefs that because to save themselves from the sex predators in the olden times, they were tattooing their body. There is another theory that they tattoo their body so that they could identify themselves when they go to the heaven after their death, so they will be able to identify themselves. But when we analyze deeply and take also the accounts of Vottery Elvin and some other scholars who have done a lot of work in this area for this tribe, so according to Vottery Elvin, so it is like they say that this entire tattooing things is associated with fertility, called again associated with Bhima, to whom they call Bhimun, and also his wife. So here you see two characters on the forehead, two human characters. So they represent Bhima and Bhimi. So there were you can see here too. Of course, nowadays younger women are not doing tattoos, and this is not so prominent since she is an old woman. So it is it is shown better. But if you analyze some of the old photographs from the British time and also after the independence, there you have much more prominent markers of this tribe. So there were like beliefs that when he was starting when he was Vottery Elvin was doing research, he found that when interacting with the local Kond women and also the families, so they said that it comes in the dream of the daughter's father who is going to marry. Whose marriage has been fixed, wedding has been fixed, and he says that please tattoo your daughter's face, otherwise she will be not able to conceive. And so that is even though there is a resistance, but she is supposed to do the tattoo marks. And all these symbols what you see on the right side, at the left side of the face, are basically, associated with fertility cord, either the agriculture fields or or uh, uh, or agricultural implements. So this is how it's a very interesting tradition to see how Bhima in different tribal culture of Odisha has been integrated, with the local, with their needs as well as also their cultural aspects. So this is something which has not been, when we go to the tribal villages and all, like, so where you don't hear such stories if you are just, going through a conventional tourism approach. So, but when there is a storyteller with you and you go there and try to talk to the people and listen to the stories and also, experience in a very informal settings, then you start hearing such stories. And many of these are actually, part of sustainability, because fertility, rain, drought, all these are like part of life, and how people, taking clues from the Hindu characters and Hindu, because there was also deeper influence of Hinduism. So how they have taken and integrated with their own beliefs. So this is what is the beauty of this story.
Jitu ji, can I stop the share?
Sure.
Yeah, we can then come to the panel and we can start with the question and answer.
Right.
So this has been another beautiful presentation. Thank you, Jitu ji. Out of the box, we don't know how much you know about the tribal culture. I've been following Jitu ji's work for last 4 or 5 years, and he has been a wonderful person. Honestly speaking, if you give me, if somebody says, what treat you want, I say, I want a treat to go to tribal lands of Odisha, and then Jitu ji let he be the guide of the group. So thank you very much. It's truly been an honor to hear you. I open the floor for the question and answer. Architect Sayantan is here, Dr. Madhura is there, Jitu ji is there. So any queries? Otherwise, I have a lot of queries.
I have a question, ma'am.
Please.
It's open to all three speakers. Yes. So thank you so much for the wonderful presentations made by all of you. I just wanted to know your views on how or what would be the impact of technology and digital media on these cultural festivals, and how it will in turn impact the cultural tourism of these regions, whether it is the urban context of Kolkata or the tribal lands and the village setup that we saw in the first and the third presentations. So what will be the impact, because the way digital media and technology is developing, will it be an advantage, or will it pose a threat to people actually coming in, experiencing these cultural festivals, or just share? I wanted to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I can answer for, yeah. So, what we are in process right now is we are creating a virtual museum space for Durga Puja. And last year when we were doing this preview show, before that, we had many road shows, and it is extremely difficult for anyone to just see through videos or to understand these architectural experiences of what a Durga Puja pandal is like. So the closest is for me, which I have been documenting and my team has been documenting for last 10 years, we have been archiving in virtual reality Durga Puja. So it's the closest you can come to a space. And I'm talking of a space here. I'm not talking of anything else. I'm talking of the materials and space and how you navigate through space. So VR, the medium of VR, virtual reality, has become a very this thing. So when you see through the Oculus lens, it's very close to a real space. And we are in process of building one right now. Very soon. It's already, we have the archive. We just have planning to put it up in Kolkata, because when you come to Kolkata, when there's no Durga Puja, you don't even feel that this kind of huge, humongous effort happened here in this city, in this lazy city. So it's good to have a space, have a couple of spaces where you could experience these, so the digital medium in that way really helps, I think, to enhance this experience if you can't make it here, kind of thing in time. Yeah, thank you.
So I can go next. I think it's a very good question, Rashini, and definitely digital media is extremely important, is becoming the most important area of work in all sectors right now. And when it comes to the rural artists and artisans and the villages, obviously it has been a challenge, but then they are also picking up the use of digital media very fast, especially the youth who are already a little bit savvy with the thing, because they are realizing that it is the way to reach out to the world, and if they have to remain connected, they have to do that. So they are wonderfully, the people who are already in the business, in the sector of the participation in the festivals, organizing them or selling their products, or having a clientele of their own, be it music, be it craft, anything. They all have online presence. Whoever doesn't, we try to facilitate that, because that is important. And during COVID, COVID pushed us to really train these artists and artisans in digital literacy in a big way. So going Facebook Live and things like that, those kinds of things happened. They are very comfortable with Zoom now. So they do workshops on even internationally, sitting in their village resource centers. So all these village resource centers are actually equipped with computers and internet, so that using the digital media becomes easy, and there is a ready setup for that, and they are trained in that. So they are using it, and it's a continuous process. And just to add to that, there are several websites that we run. We go live on each and every festival that happens. So it really creates that awareness, I would say, and the attraction. And people have actually traveled from international places. They make it a point to travel from international and various national places, targeting those festivals, because now they are calendarized. So that organization of the events also help. But then a very wide social media presence is there, and that's very important for the artisans themselves to have. And we also have a partnership with Google Arts and Culture. So we have lots of stories on Google Arts and Culture, which gives you the feeling of an exhibition, which also are very widely circulated, and they are bilingual. So they are done in English and Bengali for the Bengali artists, English and other language and all that. So I think this is something that we are continuously using and trying to make the artists use. It's a process, but it's definitely catching up, and it's a very important medium for enhancing their own businesses, their own promotion and everything. So it's a huge advantage, yes.
I totally agree with what Madhurima ma'am said. So I think many of these cultures which I spoke about are also dying because of so many factors. So, globalizations as well as spread of urbanizations. So people have started moving out of their habitats and going to some other big cities because there are no jobs available in the rural areas. There's tourism, cultural immersive tourism can play a very important role. So if it is, connected with sustainability, so many of these dying art traditions or cultural traditions will be able to survive. And to make it happen, I think digital media has a very strong role to play. But it has to be also handled in a way so that they are safe, at least, because a lot of people have different kind of intentions. So I have gone to to many of these travel areas in Odisha, where there are several tour companies, both in the state as well as from Delhi and other places. They take foreign tourists, but their intentions are different. So many times they take pictures of women and post it, in their own circles, and they are all available online. And this is very disturbing. So you have also have certain responsibility when you are dealing with a very, very delicate, cultural tourism, especially in tribal areas, a very, very delicate subject. and it has to be handled in a way, and you have to actually understand before you start taking to your guest, you must analyze them, must understand their intentions through maybe questionnaire or something. So this is how I think, and also post them, but so that it doesn't reach to everywhere. And what we do consciously, we don't reveal the names of the place. So people ask me, in the social media, so which place and all, like I never say about the place names, because once you reveal it, then probably it will go out of your hand. So this is what I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. There's a query, maybe if we can quickly answer, we are left with just another 1 minute. Roshni, can you read the question?
Sure, ma'am. So Dilip sir is asking what measures have been taken to ensure that the artists get their dignity and wages. And the question is to all the panelists, so if anyone could answer that.
So I can sort of.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, the one important thing is the creation of entrepreneurship within the village, and creating the village as a unit of development through various tools, one of which is festivals. So the fact that the artists and the artisans are in charge of their own market, their own client, their own production, and because they are collective, they also have the negotiation power with the markets. All those things make it much more empowering for them. And there are several case studies like this. That is one. And the second, which is also linked to digital media to some extent, and also linked to the dignity of the artisans, is for the artists and the artisans to realize and understand their cultural rights. I think this is an area which is challenging, but at the same time, it is becoming more and more prominent. So acknowledging the artisan, recognizing the artisan, giving the due credit to the artisan, or the ensuring that the artisans get the returns of whatever materials or whatever things are being used by the rest of the ecosystem. I think these are things that we have started building their capacities. A lot of other organizations also do the same. But then it's something that we need to work more collectively to ensure that, they already get the dignity, because there's a level of authenticity in it, because people are actually going to their villages and actually meeting the actual practitioners, which is the idea. But at the same time, it goes beyond that towards maintaining the cultural rights of the artists also. So yeah, that will be my answer.
Thank you, Madhura. And this is the time to say vote of thanks. First, thanks to the speakers. Once again, great presentation, a lot of learning from here. We'll also have a last panel towards the end of the events. That's on 10th June. We're expecting some international ICTC members also to join. So continue to be with us, and thanks to the East Zone side. This is actually not ICOMOS East Zone, but you can see East part of the country. And this is how we picked up or we requested the speakers. And in the next session, next Saturday, we will meet for Northeast and North part of the country. Thank you very much once again, and see you next week with more learnings. A very good evening. Bye-bye.